Hi, my name is Lorna Karumba, a counseling psychologist by profession, and I'm passionate about mental health. Let me ask you a question. When you get sick, what do you do? When you feel you have a headache or a stomachache, what's the first thing you do? You go to hospital, isn't it? Because that is your physical health. But we forget about our mental health. Our mental health is very important because in as much as our physical health is important, our minds, our brains need to be okay. But what do we do when we are suffering from depression, stress, suicidal thoughts, feeling like the world is coming to an end? That is mental health. Seek out for help. The same way you seek out for help for physical health, that's the same way you need to take care of your mental health. Your mental health is important. It's okay not to be okay. Now, suicide is a very important topic because that is what is happening in our communities today with our loved ones, our spouses, our children, those who are dear to us. Now, I'd like to ask you to take this matter very seriously. In suicide, when do we in life feel like things are getting so hard for us? Life is so fast. Everyone is just busy with whatever that they are doing. Sometimes suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts can crop into your mind. Suicide can be prevented. Suicide, you can talk about it. Suicide is there, but you can prevent it. Don't ignore someone who is going through a suicidal thought. It could be your spouse, a friend, your child, a colleague. Reach out. There are so many helplines that are there to help people going through suicide or other mental health conditions. Take care of your mental health. For this and such topics, subscribe to the Myles show because this is where you get information, you get awareness on such topics.
Hey guys, welcome to a new episode today. We're going to be discussing about suicide. And with me here, I have a guest by the name Lorna Wangeshi. She's a counseling psychologist and she's going to be talking about suicide. Thank you, Lorna, for joining us in this segment.
Thank you so much. Okay, my name is Lorna Karumba. I am a counseling psychologist by profession. I also deal with matters to do with mental health. And I am a champion for the mental health talk that has been very much suppressed in our communities, but it's coming up slowly. So I am passionate about mental health.
Thank you so much. So, for example, like if I can start asking you, is suicide like a mental illness, or what is suicide rather?
Okay. So suicide is the act of taking one's own life. And suicidal behavior is actually planning the actions that lead you to take your own life. Yes, it is a mental health condition because, as we know, the mental health is the mind. And by the time you're thinking of committing suicide or taking this act, because it's not normal, it is your mental health that is affected. So because there are certain disorders, mental health disorders, that come into play when we talk about suicide, things like depression, clinical depression, or anxiety issues like this post-traumatic stress disorder, or anxiety like anxiety attacks, panic attacks that can lead you to want to commit suicide. There are other disorders like schizophrenia, which is one of the leading disorders of mental health. And then we have bipolar, which can also cause some of the issues that come about to when you think about committing suicide. So yes, it is a mental health issue, and it needs to be taken a bit more seriously because it's not normal. It's not every day that you want to commit suicide. Yeah.
All right. So why do people try and attempt suicide? Is it because of those, for example, the disorders you talked about, bipolar and all that, or there are other things that can cause someone to try and attempt suicide?
Okay, so there are some causes of suicide that are linked with mental health. So some of them are the disorders that we're talking about. Some of them may cause you because it's like a sickness. A disorder is actually a disease that you need medication for. So the mental health is one of them. Secondly is trauma. Some of the traumatic experiences that we go through, like rape. Rape is one of the leading causes of suicide, where you feel like I'm now an embarrassment to the society, I'm a burden because now I was raped, and it's like it's all over written on my face. So you tend, because of that trauma, if it's not dealt with early enough, then it may cause you to have some suicidal ideations. Then the third one is loss, when you lose someone very close to you, or actually when you lose something, yeah, like a job or a loved one, or maybe finances, or some sort of power or authority. There's a way you tend to feel depressed, yeah, and there's a way you tend to feel like, yes, things are not going so well. So loss is one of them. Another one also is hopelessness, where you just feel hopeless with life, helpless with life, like there's no hope, there's nothing, things are just going bad. You've tried everything, you've tried maybe talking to someone, maybe you've tried going to places where you enjoy, but then all of a sudden you just feel, yeah, it's like everything now is gone. Then another one would be chronic pain, like when you're suffering from something chronic, like sometimes one of the leading causes is like cancer. Cancer is a very traumatic disease. So it may cause you to feel like you're a burden to society because you're all the time in hospitals, using a lot of finances, resources. People tend to feel very overwhelmed. They tend to feel like now you've become the sick person in the family. So the family changes their way of living. Sometimes they even change their behaviors and stuff like that. So sometimes that may cause you to feel like, yeah, it's like the end for me. And some of these causes of suicide are actually what perpetuate you to get mental health disorders like depression, because if that chronic pain causes you to feel very low, then you get depressed. Another one that is not really very common is a cry for help, yeah, where you feel like, yes, in as much as I don't want to, like, it's actually a person tells you I want to commit suicide, but they're not really wanting to commit suicide. It's a cry for help. They're going through something, but they're not able to talk about it. Maybe they lost their jobs, maybe their children have been chased out of school, or maybe their child has died, something has happened. So it's a cry for help for you to actually come in and talk to this person. So these are some of the causes of suicide that are there or that are known.
Still on that, like what I can ask, for example, are there like some physical or especially physical symptoms that you can tell like someone is about to commit suicide? As you're saying, like, some of them go through loss, and then that makes them feel low. Like, see, like when you see someone is low, you can be like, okay, there's something wrong with Myles. Is really low of late, and he's a very let's say I'm very outgoing, and then all of a sudden I just go low. So are there some signs and symptoms that you can tell that someone is about to commit suicide, for example?
It's a good question. What do you look out for when someone says I want to commit suicide? But before we get into that, you need to know the difference between suicide and actually feeling like, enough is enough, because we go through that almost every day or every time in our life, where we feel, yes, in as much as we don't want to commit suicide, we are not there yet, but we feel low. So there's a very big difference, because suicide is actually a mental health condition. It's something that is going on. The mind is affected and it's affecting your behavior. It's actually called cognitive behavioral. Means the cognitive is affected, hence the behavior changes. So some of the symptoms to look out for. The first symptom is isolation. This person goes into hiding. This person does not want to talk to people. Maybe it was a very jovial person, like you're saying, and then all of a sudden they're not talking. They're not on phone. Maybe they used to be someone who used to be very good on maybe social media. You find they've deleted their accounts. They're not evident. Their WhatsApp status, the status is blank. There's nothing, or it's black. Yeah, that's one of the first symptoms to know, oh, there's something wrong. What's happening to Myles, for example? Then the second one is where you find someone just gets to a point they are so hopeless. You try to tell them something, you try to give them good news, we are laughing somewhere, and they're just dazed. Actually, they are not there. They're actually preoccupied with so many thoughts. Another one is overeating or undereating, depending on, again, the person. Some people tend to not eat at all. Some people tend to overeat. You find they are indulging in junk foods or other foods just to make sure that that feeling can, maybe suppress. But most often than not, it actually increases the rates of suicide. Yeah. Then in eating and overeating, then there's sleeping, too much sleep or too little sleep. So you find this person is not able to sleep well. Maybe at night they are awakened like 6 or 7 times. They're not able to sleep well, or they actually sleep more. You find the whole day they're just sleeping. And the first symptom to look out for, actually, before you even look at someone who is isolated, is to see. Myles used to wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning and go to work. Now, at 10 a.m., they're still in the house. They're not on leave. It's not something that they're doing that is very important, but they're not eating. They're not able to take a shower. The normal things of life. Maybe brush their teeth. Maybe eat their favorite meal. Like, for example, this person used to love maybe having an ice cream. they are not able to enjoy that ice cream anymore. That's the first symptoms to actually ask yourself, what's going on? It could be a cry for help. It also could be that they're running into depression, or maybe there's something anxious, or they're going through something traumatic. Another symptom to look out for is reckless behavior. That is someone maybe who could be on the roads and you know them as a very nice slow driver. Now they're driving very fast. Maybe their thought is to kill themselves as fast as possible, because an accident, by the time you realize, you're gone. So you might find they're actually going through reckless behavior, driving very fast, or maybe trying to be on the road, cross the road and be in the middle of the road just to get killed. Or most often than not, you find they engage in things like substance abuse, alcohol, where someone never used to take beer, or they took, just for social interactions. But now all of a sudden they're not taking beer, they are taking more than enough, they're in the house, they have all sorts of beer around them. So you find these are some of the symptoms that you look out for when you're looking at someone who has suicide. What is it that you're looking for? At least if you see 3 or 4 of these symptoms, then it's a cry for you to actually think about it and ask yourself, how is this person doing? If it's your spouse, what is happening to this spouse? Because you find if it's a spouse, even intimacy is very hard for them, because to them, they are feeling so low, they don't even understand, is this my wife, is this my husband? So they're not even able to recognize you most of the time. So you must understand what exactly is happening to this person. Reach out, because you might be their only savior, you might be their only hope for that specific moment that they're going through. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Still on that point, because now we've discussed like the symptoms of whereby you can see and all that, and now we want to discuss about what if someone comes and approaches you and tells you like, Lorna, I want to commit suicide. How would you go about it? If your friend approaches you and tells you like, I'm thinking of committing suicide, how would you approach that person? How would you help that person to out of that suicidal thought?
Okay, so someone comes today and tells you, I want to commit suicide. First, that is the first step for that person to recovery, because this is someone, most often than not, actually more than half do not even tell you. They actually do it because of a sense of embarrassment. It's not every day that you go around announcing that I want to commit suicide. So it is a shaming, it's an embarrassment. So that is the first step, and actually that's a very good step. So first you must stay calm as much as possible. Stay calm. Don't look like you're shocked, or that you're shocked, like can we take you to the hospital? Stay calm, it's normal. Stay calm and reassure them. Keep reassuring them that it's okay not to be okay once in a while. What could be happening? If it's someone who you're able to talk to them. Ask them what is going on. Don't ask them leading questions like, why would you want to commit suicide? There are so many things that we are living for. Don't try to compare their lives with other people. Like maybe if you say they lost somebody, you tell them, even me, I lost my dad and my mom. Why are you so affected? It could be affecting them. We are all different. It could be affecting them in a more personal way than it affected maybe you when you went through your loss. So don't try to compare. As much as possible, listen. We tend to say in psychology or as counselors that your ears should be bigger than your mouth when you're talking to such people. Your ears should be as wide as you can, and the mouth should be really small. So that as much as possible, you try to listen. You might be there, in as much as possible, the person is talking to you, and all you do is just nod and give them that reassurance that, yes, I'm listening. Don't give them an answer like, don't commit suicide or let's go to church. Give them that idea to actually get the solutions from themselves. Because if you push that person there, then they go to church and they actually find there's no solution for them, then they'll come back to you and tell you, you are not so good to me, you lied to me, now I'm actually going to commit suicide. Or they won't tell you, and you might hear much later on that, they committed suicide. Again, give hope. Give hope as much as possible. Hope is the most important thing, and tell them that there is so much support that there is. There are hotlines that help all around the country. The country has really embraced mental health, especially during this time of COVID-19. So look for helplines. They are all over. Ask in hospitals, majorly the big hospitals like Nairobi Women's, we have Kenyatta National Hospital, even the small clinics, you might find a counseling psychologist there who is ready to help. There are so many helplines that are there. If you feel you don't have the resources enough to help this person, refer them and support them in the sense that you tell them that you've gone through this and this and this, but there's help out there, and I promise you that you'll get help and you'll be able to sort out your issue. So as much as possible, the support is very important at that point. All
right, so let me ask you, like on a personal level, this between men and women, who are more suicidal and who are more prone to commit suicide?
Okay. So for those who are more suicidal, depression is more in women because of the hormones that they have, and because of, basically, as a woman, there is hormones that are there that actually may lead to depression. But it's very funny because in as much as women are more depressed, the men tend to complete suicide more. Because for women, we are created in a way that there's a way that we love to talk to people. These gossips, these little chamas that we have, we tend to get along and talk, and sometimes you feel better. But for a man, men are taught to be strong. Be strong. You're a man. So you guys tend to reach a point where you feel like, I shouldn't share my problems, or I look weak to the society. And especially in a couple setting, you find if you tell your wife about something you're going through, or if you tell a woman about something you're going through, you feel less of a man. So that is why they complete suicide more. Again, for men, it's very important to understand that for a man, they wouldn't want to actually do this, have the act of committing suicide. Then they reach a point and you're in hospital and you didn't actually commit suicide and you didn't go. Then there's all that point of, he wanted to commit suicide, he didn't die, so it's all over town. That embarrassment is too hard for them. So they look for very lethal ways to actually commit suicide. And that is how they look for guns. They don't go for the normal ways that, we know. Then they look for guns, knives, things that are as fast as possible to complete the act faster than usual. And that's why, sadly, men are diving into depression more. They're diving into suicide more because it's fast. And men will think about it yesterday, and by today they're gone. Because for a woman, they'll have to first think, I have children, I have this. Because for a woman, it's more more emotional as it is. So they will take longer, and they'll actually try as much as possible to look for all the solutions that they can. So men complete the suicide more than women do. Yes.
So to my final question, and the most important, how can we as a society, or also individually, take that responsibility of trying to prevent suicidal thoughts and suicide in our community? What are the ways we should do so as to prevent suicide?
So the solution comes from within. It starts from me as a person. What can I do to help? Because in as much as we want to help other people, what about myself? The first thing is to look for solutions and probable support for whatever you're going through. It's okay not to be okay. I think I'll repeat that 1,001 times. It's okay not to be okay, because if we are okay every day, then life would have been very boring. There are days that you feel sad. There are days where you lose somebody. There's days when you feel depressed, stressed up. It's okay not to be okay. Once you understand that point, then you look for solutions to problems. I'm going through a specific problem in my workplace. Maybe my finances are going down. Maybe I have a family issue, a conflict. I've lost a loved one. Look for solutions to those problems other than diving into other things, because the society where we are right now, it's a point where we are feeling like, life has become so hard. There's no offering solutions. Everyone is busy. Actually, there was a day I just went into town and stood in the middle of town, and I realized everyone is in a rush. People are not caring about other people. You find sometimes even you might go on the road and someone is very sick. You can tell this person is sick, but no one even cares. No one even cares about your neighbor. It's not like, like what you're supposed to be in a community, because we're supposed to love each other as a community. We're supposed to be together. So you must start with yourself, understanding that at the end of the day, I came into this world by myself. So what can I do to help solve my solutions? Again, acknowledge to yourself, today I'm feeling sad. So what can I do about it? Looking for things that you love to do. If you love to go for specific things, because life has become very busy, where people are even working 7 days in a week, almost 24 hours. I was talking to a certain watchman the other day, and he was telling me he works during the day as a watchman. At night, he's a watchman. He only has 1 hour in a day. So you can imagine how much stress this man goes through in a specific day. Why is he doing this? Because life has become difficult. People are looking for money. People are looking for resources. But we have forgotten one important thing, that we are human beings before we are fathers, before we are wives, before we have responsibilities. You're a human being. You need time for yourself, because in as much as you are looking for this money, even if I gave you all the money in the world, you'll not be happy. So look for solutions to your problems. Acknowledge when you're not okay. Look for help. There are so many places that you can help. Talk is the most important prevention strategy for suicide. Because if I talk to somebody, if I come here and I say, okay, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling bad, can we talk about this thing? And you listen. You actually listen without judging, because judging is the most important thing. If you judge somebody, then I get that preconceived idea that you don't care about me. If I come and tell you that I'm going through something, that I lost my job, and you quickly say, I also lost my job last year and I'm here surviving, actually I don't even have a job, and you start to give me your problems, then I lose hope. Yeah. So talking has a meaning. It is TALK. T is for talk. Talk about your issues. Look for someone that you feel this person I can talk to. Don't just go to anybody. Yeah, because sometimes, again, the world is cruel. You find you've told this person, it's all over social media, this guy called Dan wants to commit suicide, you guys help, and maybe he didn't actually want that. Yeah. Then A is for ask. Ask questions. When you're talking to this person, ask the person questions. How are you feeling? Don't just sit there and want them to ask. So ask them, how are you feeling? Don't ask why questions. Why questions are very, very they like attack a person. So try as much as possible to, how are you feeling? Then they tell you, I'm feeling very low. Maybe they just give you one-word answers. Probe further. Ask them, okay, you're feeling low. What could be happening? Try and distance yourself from bringing your problems to this person, because it's now their time. Your time will come to also share, but it's now their time. Talk to them. Then listen is the L. When you're talking to this person, don't just be quick to judge them and already say things that they haven't told you, like, oh, so you want to commit suicide? Then they're like, no, I'm just depressed, but I haven't reached that point. So if you listen, you'll actually hear what exactly you want. Don't listen to hear what you want to hear. Listen to actually get information. Then the last one is no. Once you listen to this person, don't just leave them like, oh, okay, yes, okay, so you want to commit suicide. Okay, I've listened. At the end, give them solutions. Try and give probable solutions. There are hotlines that are there. There are support systems. We as psychologists are coming now in the open to actually help. We are here 24/7 to actually help these people. So once you give them the K, which is the no, you ask them exactly what is going through. And what can I do to help you? They'll tell you, oh, I needed finances. Look for solutions for them. Tell them, okay, maybe we can go and ask some place where we can get some money for you to help you to go through that operation, or to help you to go through the chemotherapy that you need, or whatever finances they need. Maybe their child has dropped out of school. Look for solutions for them. There are bursaries out there. There's so many. So the K is for no. So talking helps this person to understand what exactly is happening to this person, and that way you'll be able to help, because you'll know, that certain person is going through suicidal thoughts, and you might help them. Again, it's very important, as much as we are preventing, to understand that you're the sole proprietor of your life. In as much as I will come here and help you, if they actually commit suicide, then it's not your fault. You have to remove the thought that, maybe I didn't help them enough. You did the best you can. So do your best at the specific point that is there, and as much as possible, at that point, once you give them the help that they need, and you maybe refer them to a psychologist or something, if they don't go and actually go through the suicide, then you did your best. Try and distance yourself, because many people right now are going through a point where they feel like, I wish I could have done more. I wish. Remove that I wish, because as much as you can, they came to you, they give you the solutions, and then at the end of the day, you gave them what they needed, but then it didn't work out for them. So sadly, we've lost so many people to suicide, but again, there is hope. There is hope. Because in as much as, yes, we are in a busy world, there are things that are there to help us, and resources that are there to help us. Churches are giving a lot of this education nowadays. Mental health in the country right now is almost going overflowing. Yeah, we are accepting mental health, and once we accept mental health as a country, then people will be ready to get help. Because getting help does not mean you're weak. Getting help actually means that I'm strong, but I know I'm not okay today, and I need that help. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lorna.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot, and I'm sure also our viewers have learned a lot also. Thank you for coming. That's the end of the segment today. Thank you so much for coming. And to finalize on this, I think you have done a really good and amazing job, especially in terms of discussion that you had about suicide. And people go through these things. So many people go through it, and they are so silent about it. And here we are trying to help people out, to make them feel better, and trying to make them have an outlet. So, because actually, personally, I'm not a counselor. I'm just a host for this show. So I think it will be better if people can know where they can find you, so as to be able to help them and to try and change the community as a whole. And I'm sure, as you said, you are really for mental awareness, and you can just tell us where we can find you, your office. Yes.
Okay, so I have an individual office that I offer counseling services. I have 2 offices, a home office and one that is located along Roysambu. But it would be easier to note that it's real, it's there. You might be going through this now. You might be listening to us and you're wondering, this person is talking to me. So reach out. You might find that the help is there. And sometimes, again, it's okay not to be okay. So reach me out on my number on 0724 052 152. 0724 052 152. I'll always be there to help. I prefer to give out my personal number, because it's more personal, as it is maybe something that a normal business. This is more, it's about a human being, it's about someone's life. So reach me out there and I'll always be ready to help. My name is Counselor Lorna, just in case you've forgotten, and I'll be there to help you.
So to our viewers, thank you for joining us. It was a wonderful session. I hope you've learned something. And remember, you are not alone and you are loved. So in this world, you matter a lot. Everybody matters. So whenever you feel suicidal, just talk to someone. There's always someone there to listen to you. You are needed here. This is our world. Thank you and see you next time.